What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Movies with a cocktail. Right now, we quarantine in our houses and everything like that. There ain't no particular time for happy hour. Everything is happy hour. Some people wake up in the morning, as soon as they wake up, happy hour. Let's get it started right now. Let's talk movies. This episode I'm talking about my top 10 horror movies. My top 10 horror movies of all time. Let's get into it right now. I'm gonna start with number 10. Number 10. I'm talking about the original Fly. Like a lot of people probably remember The Fly from 1986 with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. But the original Fly was in 1958, and it started my dude, the king of horror, Vincent Price. Vincent Price was that dude, the horror king. He was in Michael Jackson's Thriller video. Not in the video, but he was the voice of the dude that was talking near the end, talking about the zombies and everything coming out from the dead and everything like that. And Vincent Price, to me, always going to be the top dude of horror. He was in so many horror films of all time. That's what he's mostly known for. And the concept of The Fly was sickening. A dude who DNA got mashed up with a fly of an insect, and they DNA combined together. The dude became the Fly eventually towards the end of the movie. It was funny for that time back then. You know, for that time period, it was probably horrifying to people. That's the only special effects they had. Dude at the end turned to a big fly with the big fly head, you know, and then but we may look at it as corny now, but that's what the only thing they had back then. Everything was done with the imagination and the thrill. And I really love the second Fly, the remake. A good remake. A lot of times they don't do second remakes good. It's real rare for the first remake. For the second remake to be better than the first one. Just the dude right here, Freddy Krueger. The dude that set the mark for all the monsters, slashes to come after him. Nightmare on Elm Street. For all the true horror fans, definitely gotta have this in your collection, no doubt. Let's get to number 9. Number 9 is that dude, Freddy Krueger, man. Nightmare on Elm Street, done by Wes Craven. Wes Craven did The Wishmaster. He did a lot of other, scary movies. He was the king of horror, just like Vincent Price was the king of horror as far as the actors. Wes Craven was the king of the directors, and he did some of the greatest horrors of all time, terrified us. And Wes Craven used a lot of real life stories in his movies, and that's what a lot of directors do. They take stories from the things that it's given to them, and then they take a little bit of reality from stories that have been passed around through time, or something that they may heard of. And it was a real dude back in the day. It was a real serial killer who supposedly came back and haunted the people in that town, and supposedly killed people with claws, with knives on his hand. And that's where Wes Craven got the story from. Freddy was a bastard, man. He had a foul mouth. That's what he had a sense of humor. He killed you and always made a sarcastic joke about it. Out of all the killers in the slasher movies and everything like that, he was the one that talked the most. There's a lot of the slasher movies like Jason, Friday the 13th, and then Halloween, and all these other movies. A lot of the killers they don't say nothing. They just come to you, kill you, slash you up. Freddy was the only one that talked trash to you. The only one. Like Hellraiser, when I'm gonna get into a little later, he would give you a speech about hell and tell you why you coming into the darkness. Freddy would just, I'm gonna kill you like this, made a joke about you, you was done. The first one was the scariest one. Well, let me put it this way. Out of all of them, the first one had the less jokes as possible. I like when Nancy's sitting up there, she in the chair, she went off the dream. She went into the hallway. Then the NTA lady seen her, and she like, "Where's your hall pass?" And then, Freddy came out, "Where's your hall pass?" And then, the lady, she had the shirt of Freddy, and she had the claw, and had Freddy's voice, and she was like, "No walking in the halls, Nancy." Little stuff like that. And when you little, man, that stuff scared the crap out of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just one of them people that like being scared, that's all. And you seen the part in the alley, and he got his arms stretched out real long. That's stuff nightmares are made out of. Like, just imagine that. Somebody out of nowhere just chasing you, and their arms stretch out long as they can stretch out in your dreams. You dreaming about that. He put his fingers up, cut all his fingers off, blood squirt up in the air. And, that's the type of stuff that we used to sneak off and watch. A lot of our parents and aunts and uncles let us watch it with them. They ain't know no better. Night was a movie that came out in 1985, man, and it was directed by Tom Holland, and also Tom Holland did the screenplay. It starred Chris Sarandon, Ahmad Bear, William Ragsdale, and Rodney McDowall. And Rodney McDowall did a lot of stuff. Like, he was known for the Planet of the Apes movies and everything like that. And I love Fright Night. To me, it's one of the best vampire movies. It had comedy, because it was kind of like a horror comedy, horror/comedy, but it was raw. Like, it was sexual a little bit. It was everything you liked it in a vampire movie. And the dude that played the vampire was the way vampires should be: seductive, persuasive. He had the dark side to him. He had he had charm. He had finesse. But he was the Prince of Darkness, and that's what the Prince of Darkness is. My other favorite part on Fright Night, towards the end, when the boy that played McDowell character came to him, he tried to bring out the cross, and the bull laughed at him. He's like, ha, ha. He's like, it ain't gonna work. He's like, you gotta have faith. This movie always scared me when I was a little kid. Even when I go back and watch it now, and still bring that fear back a little bit. The story that stood out to me was He Who Kills, little ugly ass voodoo doll. You had Chucky. A lot of people would think I would choose Chucky as the horror movie of all time for us the dolls, but I can't go with Chucky. I'm gonna go with a movie most people don't know about. It's from a series, ABC series. It was directed by Dan Curtis in 1975, a year before I was born, and it was called Trilogy of Terror. Trilogy of Terror. It started Karen Black. Now, Karen Black was a real known actor. She was nominated for like 2 Golden Globes. Getting back was He Who Kills on Trilogy of Terror, about this doll who looked like Busta Rhymes. Like Busta Rhymes, he one of my favorite rappers of all time. So no offense, Busta Rhymes, if you're listening to this right now, but when you first came out with the dreads and with the rah dragon, you looked like the Trilogy of Terror doll. The trilogy of Terror doll was terrifying. This African Sunu, this doll that you had a little bracelet like this with a little charm on it, and I think you took the bracelet off or whatever you did to the bracelet. When it came off, or you did something to it, it made the doll come to life. The doll chased her around the house and was making this little, a real terrifying noise, like it had these long teeth, chased her all around her. It had a little knife because it. Let's get to number 6 on my list. Number 6 on my list, we're going to talk about Gremlins. Gremlins was a real good movie, man. It was directed in 1984 by Joe Dante. I mean, in the box office, it grossed $153.1 million. That's a lot of money in '84, man. And USA, you know what I'm saying? It started Zach Galligan. You know, that was what he was known for. The one that got the gremlin. He was told certain rules you don't do. You don't feed it at the midnight, and you don't put it in water. Now here's the funny thing about not feeding it at midnight, and I experienced this. So it has nothing to do with turning into a gremlin or not. When you eat at midnight, when they say you have nightmares, if you eat real late, and it incorporates in your brain and your dreams, that's true shit. That's why they tell you don't eat at midnight. And I don't know if that's the person who wrote this incorporated that in there and whatever like that. But gremlins, they've been the creatures that supposed to existed, for a long time in history. And then they was depicted on film as these creatures. It was a comedy. It was a real good comedy, man. The creatures went and did everything. They took over the town. They was terrorizing, did everything, and then they had senses of humor. They had personalities like us. Horror of all time on my number 5 list, I gotta go with The Howling. The Howling to me was one of the best werewolf movies ever made. The Howling came out in 1981. It came out in 1981. It was done by Joe Dante. It started Dee Wallace, Patrick McNee, and had other Howling movies that came out. I think they did 5 or 6 of them, something like that. But all the other ones was corny. Trust me, they're not worth your time. If you just want to watch them for shits and giggles, be my guest. The first one is a classic, the transformation of him turning into the vampire, turning into the werewolf. At the end, you see the girl, she turned into the werewolf, and when the dude meets the lady that turned him into the werewolf, when they outside doing they do and everything like that, getting a freak on, they both turn into the werewolf when the moon come out. It was like real classic, man. And the way they turned into the werewolves was really special effects was definitely on point at that time.